This Thursday, October 26th, NBA Betting Picks edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers where you can win 100x. That's right, turn $5 into 500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $500. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And also, the NBA season is officially back, and so is the NBA Gambling Podcast. To celebrate, we're giving away a NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA dog for all the details. Again, that's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA dog. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Thursday, October 26th, currently 11:02 on the East Coast. Here to get into the doubleheader in the NBA here tonight. 2 games on the schedule, not what we're used to seeing like we do on Wednesdays with a huge slate, but we do have 2 intriguing matchups here tonight. We have the Philadelphia 76ers visiting the Milwaukee Bucks and also the Phoenix Suns. They are in Hollywood to take on the LA Lakers. But joining me here to help me break it all down, now the NBA Gambling Podcast would not be without this gentleman because he is the founder of the NBA Gambling Podcast. It's Ryan, Rich, Fat Baby McKee. McKee, it's been a while, my friend, but we are officially back. What's going on, my man?
It's been a year since I've been on the show, but I am back. I'll be here on Thursdays. I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited for the basketball season to be going again. You guys have taken such good care of my the baby I founded about 3 years ago, and It's been fun to watch it grow, and over 3 years ago now. Geez, can you believe how time flies? It flies, yeah. I had to come back. I had to come back and at least do Thursdays with you guys because I missed it too much.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's been we've watched it grow together, and then we've gotten to being one of the best NBA gambling pods out there. So shout out to you, and we also be remiss not to mention ZB Zach Broner as well. I know you and him were the ones.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
No, well, dead.
The funny part is I talked to Zach maybe like a few weeks ago or a month ago, and then he texted me yesterday as well to discuss a few plays. But I was trying to poke him and try to see if we can get him back on. But stay tuned for that as well. We can try to get Zach on for an episode or 2 during the week. But yeah, McKee, the season is officially here. We have 2 nights in the books. Every team except for 2 teams who are playing tonight have a game under their belt. I guess this is the time of the week or the season where we kind of give our overreactions and see, oh my God, this team is going to be terrible for the upcoming season. But anything that's kind of stuck out to you, I should preface this that McKee is a Hath enthusiast, but he is a Phoenix Suns fan. But I know we'll talk about the Phoenix Suns in the second game of here tonight. But anything that's kind of caught your eye over the first 2 days of the regular season here, maybe like an overreaction?
I mean, we'll talk more about my Suns and the opening night that they had on Tuesday when we preview their game against the Lakers. But I had 2 teams that really stuck out to me last night that I was not expecting to get excited about. One, the Pacers hanging 143 points on the Wizards last night. I mean, wow. I have always liked Halliburton. I think he's a really fun player to watch, but they looked next level last night as far as like one of the top league pass teams I'll be watching this year. As far as just, I know it's against the Wizards and they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league, but still, when you got Halliburton setting up Bruce Brown for 24 points, I mean, how often do you see that? Like Bruce Brown going off for 24? Really exciting last night. That was a fun game. Also, talk to me about your Rockets, man. They did not look good against the Magic.
Yeah, that looked rough last night for the Houston Rockets. And I mean, it was just right from the get-go as well. And I think that we talk about this Rockets team. I mean, it's a huge cultural change for this Rockets team after what's kind of transpired and all the things that we read about this Rockets team over the last 2 seasons about how players were kind of getting away with what they want. But I think on the court, we really need to try to figure out who were running the offense through. And I know Coach Ime Udoka, before the season started and after the preseason was over, he said that our quote unquote quarterback of this offense is going to be Şengün. But last night, I mean, I know it was a blowout that most of these guys only played about 26 to 28 minutes. I know Fred VanVleet led the way with 34 minutes, but at a point, it's going to have to come for Ime Udoka is that, hey, do we run this offense through Şengün or is it going to be Jalen Green? And Jalen Green didn't have a great game last night either. 30 minutes. He was only 2 of 10 from the floor. Didn't make a 3-point shot. So I know it's game one. Also, Amen Thompson coming off the bench, 3 of 10, 1 of 7 from the floor. But they didn't shoot the ball very well, McKee. They shot 40.5% from the floor and 35% from three-point land, and they gave up 116 points. They allowed the Orlando Magic to shoot 48%. They knocked down 23 of their 26 free throws to the Orlando Magic as well. So a little bell going off in my head. I'm not ringing the alarms just yet, but not a way to start the season when you lose by 30 points, McKee.
I also, not the way to start the season. I also feel like the Magic might be better than we're giving them credit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know that they're still a young team and they're still kind of oddly constructed with their multiple guards, but now they have Jonathan Isaac back. He looked good last night. So that's exciting for Magic fans. And I'm gonna say that this team, I know it's just like overreaction. We've only got 2 days of action so far. So overreaction here. I feel like the Orlando Magic could take a bigger jump than we were expecting to for such a young team. I think, Wagner really looked good in the
FIBA
international play. So I'm very excited about this team. I'll be watching them a lot more this year.
Yeah, I know when we did the division rounds after the season was over and when the win totals had actually dropped, I think we were really high on the Orlando Magic team just because, like you mentioned, they have players on this team that any given night, any one player can step up. Right? I know last season it was the Paolo Banchero show where he won Rookie of the Year, ran away with it. But I mean, like you mentioned, Franz Wagner looked really good in FIBA World Cup play during the summer. Wendell Carter still on this roster. Markelle Fultz emerged last season as well. I know Jalen Suggs didn't have a great night, but they also got 24 minutes out of Cole Anthony coming off of the bench for 20 points. So yeah, I think that this Orlando Magic team can really compete at least for a play-in tournament spot, and then we'll see if we can get into the playoffs at that point. But yeah, so far so good, obviously, for the Orlando Magic. I think that's one team, McKee, that I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on out for sure. Anything else that kind of stuck out to you last night?
No, I mean, I'm curious to see what stuck out to you.
I think that number one, you mentioned the Pacers. I think we knew that coming into the season, the Wizards were going to be a really bad defensive team, and they allowed, like you mentioned, 143 to the Indiana Pacers. They allowed 73 points in that first half. They also gave up another 70 in that second half. I should mention this as well. I saw a report from on the Twitterverse this morning that the Chicago Bulls already called a players-only meeting after just the first game.
It's not good. Season. It's never a good sign.
Yeah, they dropped their home opener last night to the OKC Thunder, which a lot of people are high on coming into the season, rightfully so. They got the victory 124-104 against the Chicago Bulls. So I know over the last several seasons.
I was on the OKC Thunder. I was going to say, I was on the OKC Thunder last night, and I didn't see that as a weird pick, although some people were saying that was the square pick was the OKC Thunder last night. But I don't know. Who did you have going into that game?
I liked OKC as I was going back and forth just because of the line movement in this game. I think the Bulls I think they closed a 2.5 point favorite. And I felt like, maybe you're right that the Thunder were maybe the square side, but I think that kind of speaks volume of where the Chicago Bulls team might be at and how good the OKC Thunder may be coming into this season, because they were trailing by 2 in that first quarter, but after that they outscored the Bulls by 26 points the rest of the way, and they won every single quarter rest of the way. So really excited to watch SGA for this upcoming season. Obviously, Chet is back for this team as well. And Josh Giddey did Josh Giddey things, filling up the stat sheet with his rebounds and assists. So definitely going to be excited to watch this team going forward. All right, McKee, before we get over to the two games here for tonight, let me tell everyone about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy, as a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long, Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100x payout. And for a limited time, Underdog is extending the first deposit bonus up to $500. Plus, $100,000 Sundays continues on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win $10,000 each. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit of up to $500. That's Underdog Fantasy using promo code SGPN. And like I mentioned, the NBA is officially back, and to celebrate, we're giving away a NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA Dog to submit a screenshot of you playing NBA Underdog using our promo code SGPN, and one random winner will get a NBA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/NBA Dog. All right, McKee, two games on the schedule here tonight. Both are going to be exciting matchups for sure. Let's get into the first one here. Two teams that don't have a game under their belt, but they will be squaring off tonight. It's the Philadelphia 76ers. They are headed to Milwaukee to take on the Milwaukee Bucks. Currently, this line is sitting in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks by a point spread of -6. Total is currently sitting at 227 in this game for this matchup. Looking at the injury report here, McKee, James Harden, the funny part is that he made his return back to the Sixers. He packed his bag for the road trip, but the Sixers said, no, sir, can you just hang out here in Philly? We don't want you coming back, or we don't want you traveling with the team right now. Yeah. So no James Harden.
How fat is he right now? I'm wondering how much weight he's put on to really tank getting out of there.
Yeah, I think that if he didn't want to, if he really wanted to, I mean, I don't think he still wants to get out of there, but I don't think he's pulling the Houston stunt where he just came out in that fat suit and forced his way out of Houston. But we'll see. I think at the end of the day, I mean, sooner rather than later, I think it's a matter of when and not if that James Harden does get traded. But he's the only one that's a significant player that's going to be out. Pretty clean injury report here for the Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, this will be the debut for Damian Lillard and the new look Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Damian Lillard. I will mention this as well, McKee, before we actually handicap the side here, is that Chris Middleton is going to be on a minutes restriction, according to Coach AJ Griffin, because he is coming up that knee procedure to at least start the season on a minutes restriction. So -6 right now in favor of the Bucks here, McKee. What are you thinking about this matchup?
Well, one of the undersung things of this matchup is that Budenholzer was fired last year as the Bucks coach, so they have a new coach in Griffin, and he comes from the Toronto Raptors coaching tree. It was there for their championship with Nick Nurse. Now Nick Nurse is on the other side, coaching across from him. So it's on the 76ers. So that should be an interesting matchup against two former, head coach and assistant coach. So definitely keeping an eye on that, seeing Nick Nurse is known as such a strategist, and it's interesting to see. I just think that the 76ers are definitely going to be undergunned without having James Harden there. And when you're going off these first games, I know that we like to talk numbers here on NBA Gambling Podcast. We like trends. We don't like just gut calls. But when you're just kind of opening the season, sometimes your gut call is all you got. And where are the good vibes coming out of between these two teams? It's coming out of Milwaukee, and definitely not the 76ers with James Harden already just being such a drama queen. So I'm early on, I'm liking this Milwaukee Bucks team, even minus the 6. I'll go ahead and take them. I also definitely like some player props on both sides as well, but I'm curious to see what you're thinking.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct that number one, I think it really goes back to me at the end of last season or the playoffs where Milwaukee did get eliminated by the Miami Heat, and Giannis just came out and said the season was a failure because we didn't win the championship. But that's the kind of the mentality that I like to hear from one of the best players in the entire NBA, right? That your leaders come out and saying, hey, last season was a failure for us. And I think that coming into this season, I think right from the get-go, it's your home opener. I know maybe might be a little bit of growing pains with Damian Lillard there, but I think that at least the core of this team is still there, right? We talk about the Giannis's of the world, the Chris Middletons, the Brook Lopez, the Pat Covingtons are still there. So I think that for me, I think the Bucks will take care of business in this first game here. I'm with you. I like the -6 here for the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm expecting a huge night here from Giannis as well. Any thoughts on the total here? Currently sitting at 227.5. I'm leaning towards the under in this game because number one, and again, looking at stats, and I think that last season is what we can only reference to right now, obviously, since both these teams haven't played a single game yet, but both these teams were top 10 in defensive rating last season. Milwaukee Bucks were number 4 and the Philadelphia 76ers were number 8. And we talk about pace as well. Philadelphia, I want to say we're towards the bottom of the league in pace last season. I have the numbers right here in front of me. Yeah, so number 27, they were the 4th slowest team. Milwaukee, we know they like to push the pace a little bit, but it might be a little different with Damian Lillard there. They were top 10 in pace, in fact, number 10. So, and then last season, historically, only one game went over this total of 227. That was back on March 4th, 133, 130, but rest of the games were 117, 104, 110, 102, 88, 90. So I do like the under in this game. Do you have any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I mean, I think without Harden, we should expect to see more minutes from D'Anthony Melton and Patrick Beverley. And while they will, bolster the perimeter defense, they're going to limit the half-court offense, right? And so I'm kind of leaning towards the under here, just based off of I don't expect the 76ers to put up a ton of points. Also, I realize that Brook Lopez is in his mid-30s now, but I do still think he can hang in there and limit Embiid as far as you're not going to stop Embiid by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think he can stay in there, limit Embiid, and when you got that, you're just looking at Tyrese Maxey to put up all your points. And while I like Tyrese Maxey's player props today, I don't think that he's going to be able to carry the whole team.
Yeah, I agree. So let's get over to some of the player props in this game here. What do you like?
Well, since I'm already mentioned him, I'll say Maxey. I like his points plus assists tonight. That's sitting at 26.5, 27.5, depending on where you get it. He averaged over 20 points last season. And when Harden was out, he was even better on that. So I think that they're going to really need to rely on him tonight. So that's probably my favorite player prop of the night right now is Tyrese Maxey. Points plus assists sitting around 26.5. I'll take the over there.
I love it. Last season, like you mentioned, 13 games without James Harden. Maxey averaged 24.8 points, 5.4 assists. Also, I think we didn't mention the fact that now there is a downgrade at that point guard position, at least defensively, right? You go from Drew Holiday to Damian Lillard now,
that's right,
defensively. So I think that's a significant downgrade because we know Drew Holiday, one of the better guard defensive players in the entire league. So I love Maxey here as well. I talked about this with the prop king Ariel Epstein last night. Shout out to her, friend of the show. We were both agreement on the Tyrese Maxey prop here. So I'm glad that you're on it as well. So currently right now, Maxey's points are at 22.5. And then like McKee mentioned, points and assists combined is at 26.5. You mentioned, McKee?
I think you get a 26.5 to 27.5 out of the Sun Books. Depends where you're looking.
find it on DraftKings here. Let's see. Here we go.
I think it's sitting at
I see
27 and a half on DraftKings.
Yeah. I like him. I think that he's going to have to provide that support for Joel Embiid in this game because, again, you do expect the defensive attention to be on Joel Embiid here tonight just because, again, the reigning MVP, and we know that he's one of the better offensive players in the league. Any other player props that you do like in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to be leaning towards Damian Lillard on the other side. His points are sitting at 26 and a half, I think. He averaged over 30 points last season, and big game Dame, right? Like, he's going to come out and he's going to really want to show that this is a big upgrade for him. He doing the pick and roll with Giannis is going to be killer. So I love him to put up 30 tonight, so that's going to be way over his 26 and a half points prop I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and again, like we mentioned, that with Chris Middleton having limited minutes here tonight, that there's going to have to be another scoring support for Giannis. So I think Damian Lillard can fit that mold very, very nicely because, again, he was a guy last season that averaged 30-plus points per game for the Portland Trail Blazers. So expect him to have a good debut here tonight. As far as Milwaukee Bucks side, I was maybe looking at Giannis's rebounds to go over 11 and a half. I mean, we know that Giannis not only is a great scorer, but he can rebound the basketball very well, especially on the offensive glass as well. Just last season in the 4 matchups, he had 14 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 14 rebounds, 13 rebounds. So and that kind of tells you, and I'll go back all the way. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 15 of the last 16 games, McKee, Giannis has recorded 12 or more rebounds against the Philadelphia 76ers. So pretty good stat there backing up his rebounds here tonight. 11 and a half for Giannis. Anything else in this game?
I'd be curious what you think about the Brook Lopez over 1.5 3-pointers. That's at plus money. I do think that the Dame and Giannis pick and roll will take up a lot of attention, leaving Brook Lopez open over there in the corner. I'm interested because it's at plus money.
Yeah, I was looking at this as well because it was at around a plus 145. And more times than not that he has done it against the Sixers team. He's done it in 4 out of the last 5 head-to-head matchups. I think the attempts will be there for him as well, but this number being at a plus price, I wouldn't mind putting some money down on it. I mean, I see that DraftKings currently at plus 145. I think that's a really good price. And we're only asking him to get 2, right? And we've seen him do it more times than not only against the Sixers, but also, throughout his career, especially with the Milwaukee Bucks, because like you mentioned, the focus will be on Giannis. It'll be on Dame. And in the past, it's been on, Middleton and Giannis and Drew Holiday, where it opens you up the opportunity for Brook Lopez. So I can definitely see a world where he does get those 3-point attempts up, but also more importantly, knocks them down.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all I have for this game. How about you? Anything else?
No, I think my favorite plays was the under in this game, and we talked about the maxi prop. I think we're both in agreement about that as being probably the best bet in this game for me as well. All right, before we get over to the second game of the doubleheader here on Thursday night, let me tell everyone about Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and games lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bets with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bets revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort our players by hit rate for any team to bet which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And the end for NBA fans, the wait is officially over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. And with DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a shot to add an even bigger basketball wins. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your own parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code SGP. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, licensee partner Golden Nuggets, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 20 years or older, varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and bonus restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. All right, McKee, second game of the night. It's going to be your Phoenix Suns. They are in Hollywood to take on the LA Lakers. And currently, this line is sitting at -5.5 in favor of the LA Lakers. Total is at 225.5. Now, looking at the injury report, let's start here with the Phoenix Suns because two of your three big stars are doubtful for tonight. Bradley Beal is dealing with lower back tightness. He is listed as doubtful. And Devin Booker, who we read the reports before their opening night game against the Golden State Warriors, was dealing with a toe injury or / left foot soreness. He is also listed as doubtful here for tonight. And then Damian Lee, who is out this game, is recovering from a right meniscus surgery. For the LA Lakers, Jared Vanderbilt is going to be out. He is recovering from a left heel injury. Cam Reddish is listed as probable with right foot soreness. And then Jalen Hood-Schifino, their first-round draft pick, is out. He is dealing with a contusion. But other than that, pretty healthy squad for the LA Lakers. McKee, both of these teams play their first game on Tuesday night. Your Phoenix Suns did get the victory in the Bay Area against the Golden State Warriors, 108-104, led by Devin Booker, who scored 32 points in that game. Kevin Durant chipped in with a double-double as well. The Lakers lost their opening game. They got whooped by the Denver Nuggets in that game. I believe it was 119-107, if I'm not mistaken. In a game where Anthony Davis had 17 points in the first half, but 0 in the second half. That was the talk of the town on Wednesday morning. But Lakers currently sitting as a 5.5-point favorite over your Phoenix Suns here. McKee, how you feeling about this game?
I mean, I don't feel great about it for the Suns with Booker sitting. I mean, the big talk was who is going to be the point guard, Booker or Beal. Booker answered that question on the first night with 32 points, 8 assists. It's definitely going to be the floor general while he's out there. We'll see when Beal comes back how that plays off. But without either of them tonight, we've got Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen starting. I mean, that is not a backcourt you want to be going against the Lakers with. So yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards the Lakers in this one, despite me being an insane Suns fan. I just don't see it. The one of the best things I noticed about the Suns on the first night, though, was we know that their offense is going to be potent, right? And they actually held the Warriors to 104 points and held Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Wiggins, Klay Thompson to under 33% from the field. Okogie and Eric Gordon both looked good from perimeter defense wise. So I do like the under here because I do think that the Suns defense can slow up the Lakers here. We just saw it against the Warriors.
Yeah, I think for me as a side, I think this is a good bounce back spot for the Lakers at home on opening night. Obviously, them going up against the defending champions in Denver on Tuesday night. I know they were highly motivated for that game, but the Denver Nuggets are just flat out the better team, and I think they just have the Lakers number right now. But for the Phoenix Suns, like you mentioned, that you're really relying heavily on Kevin Durant in this game, and then you're hoping to get something out from guys like Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen. I mean, those are the names that you're kind of throwing out where you're hoping that you get something out of. Where for the Lakers, AD should bounce back in this game. His points prop is at 22.5. I know we'll talk about props here in a minute. But I think, when we look at this Lakers team on paper, obviously over this roster of the Phoenix Suns, they're a lot more deeper and they have a lot more depth on this team. It's just about them putting it together. So I agree about the under. You have two head coaches, McKee, in this game that are defensive minded, right? When we saw Darvin Ham get introduced as the head coach of this Lakers team, the first words out of his mouth, as far as talking about X's and O's, said, hey, we're going to be a defensive-minded team first before we talk about the offensive side. Also, Frank Vogel for the Phoenix Suns. Maybe a revenge game for him after what transpired with the Lakers and, them quote-unquote parting ways, but also a defensive-minded head coach. So I think I'm with you on the under here as well. I lean toward the Lakers side, or at least in the first quarter, the Lakers to come out and respond after losing on opening night. If you wanted a little derivative bet there, but Lakers first quarter for me, I'll lean with them the full game.
But I would wait to just make sure that Booker's definitely not playing before you bet that first quarter. Because
100%.
I don't like it as much if he's playing, but you're right. That's a good bet if he's sitting. Lakers first quarter for sure.
Yeah, great point that you make there, because we see Devin Booker just within a blink of an eye put up 8 to 10 points within that first quarter for the Phoenix Suns. So on the Lakers here, -5.5. Agree about the under 225.5 here. Let's get over to some player props we do like in this game. McKee, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Josh Okogie points prop. He put up 17 last game, and while I know that I don't expect him to put near that many points up without Booker drawing more focus away from him on the from the defense. His point prop is sitting at 8.5. Yeah. So they're going to need him to score at least 10 points to even be in this game. So I really like the Okogie points prop over 8.5 right now, just based off of there not being a lot of people around there, and he looked good in the first game.
Yeah, I was looking. I mean, the two guys you mentioned there was Josh Okogie and Eric Gordon. I'm looking at Eric Gordon's points prop in this game. That's sitting at 13.5. I think regardless if Devin Booker does play in this game or doesn't play in this game, we saw that Eric Gordon played 32 minutes in that first game against the Golden State Warriors. He got up 16 shots in that game. Unfortunately, he only shot 4 of 16 from the floor, finished the game with 10 points. He also got up 9 3-point shots as well. So if Devin Booker, which currently, as of right now, we're recording, is listed as doubtful, I'm expecting him to be in that starting lineup, maybe take over the point guard duties as well. But I do like his points prop here tonight at 13.5. I don't think that's adjusted properly there by the books, especially, with the amount of the number of minutes that he should play here tonight, and also the number of shot attempts he's going to get up as well. Because like I mentioned, Durant 22 in game 1, Devin Booker 21 shot attempts, and then Eric Gordon was a next Booker. So 13.5 was that I did bet for Eric Gordon to go over on his points prop here tonight. I'll throw one more out to you, then I'll kick it back to you here. I'll do that Nurkic rebounds again in this game. Game 1, I believe I want to say he had 14, I have it in front of me here. Nurkic finished up with 14 rebounds in that game. Currently tonight, he is listed again at 9.5. It is a little bit juiced at minus, let's see here. Or sorry, it's at 8.5 at -140 for Nurkic. I think he gets into double-digit rebounds again here tonight. If we take a look at head-to-head meetings by Nurkic versus Anthony Davis, he's gone over his rebounding prop. I want to say I had it in front of me. In 9 straight, he's been in double-digit rebounds against Anthony Davis in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9 straight games where he's averaging 9.9 rebounds. So I would not be surprised if we do see Nurk in double-digit rebounds again. So if you're able to find a 9.5 around plus money, I would definitely get on the over on that. But currently over on DraftKings, I see it 8.5 at -140. But I do believe Nurk does have double-digit rebounds here tonight.
Yeah, I actually had the exact same thing written down. I watched a lot of Suns media day with him coming in, and he looks like he's in shape after some international play. And while I don't love, I didn't love the trade for the Suns with getting him just because of his injury prone. Does he ever finish the season anymore? But let's bet on him like while he is healthy, because he does look motivated. And just like you said, he does look good head to head against Anthony Davis. So let's bet on him while he's healthy. I'm also on the over 8.5, but I do think if you can get it in double digits, why not? Because he put up 14 in the first game.
Any other player props you're looking at?
That's all I had. I really, if I'm really betting this game, I'm betting the under on the total. I think that's my best bet for this game right now. And the rest, I feel, is a little too up in flux with Beal and Booker sitting.
So you are the Suns fans. I mean, we saw the Kevin Durant trade last season. They get Bradley Beal this season. They ship off DeAndre Ayton. Obviously the expectations for the Suns team is really high. It almost seems like it's championship or bust just because of the roster that the front office has put together. But you, as a Suns fan, how are you feeling about this team coming into this year?
I mean, I'm scared as hell, to be honest, because I really like this team. I want to like this team, but with the injury prone, we already have Durant. We already had Durant and Beal, who haven't finished the season in a few years, and then you decide to bring in Nurkic, who's been as injury prone as any center in the league. I mean, that's my main concern. Does this team look great? Are they exciting to watch? Yes. Will they get hurt? Yes, they definitely will. So I think the main thing for the Suns is try to rest their players as much as possible during the regular season and keep these guys healthy for the playoffs, because you're right, it is championship or bust for this team, and all the Suns fans are feeling that way.
Yeah, I think, when we talked about at the end of the season, the thing last season when the Phoenix Suns got eliminated was that the depth around them, just because they were, kind of strapped, I guess, at that point, because Chris Paul suffered the injury, that it was pretty much the Kevin Durant and the Devin Booker show that they would have to address, the depth around those two guys. You brought in Bradley Beal, and then that maybe strapped them up a little bit, but them shipping out DeAndre Ayton kind of opened up, Nurkic, who I think will be good for them if he's able to stay again healthy. Like you mentioned, he's been more injured than not, at least over the past several seasons. We'll see what you get out of Grayson Allen. I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter to have around those guys. But after that,
I think he's good depth, but when you have him in the starting lineup, it's not going to be great,
Yeah, and once Bradley Beal is back, he'll go back to the bench, obviously. But
yeah,
I mean, you still have Watanabe coming off the bench. Eric Gordon is a solid veteran as well. You'll have Grayson Allen there as well. Drew Eubanks, a great backup center. He had 7 rebounds in the first game. For the Phoenix Suns as well.
Love Drew Eubanks for them. They got Bol too. So we've got some depth there, more so than we had last season.
Yeah, I agree. All right, McKee, let's close out this episode strong. Let's give our lock and dog for this schedule here tonight. You want to lead us off?
Sure. I'm going to go with my lock as well. I'm going to go 2 locks in that. I like the Tyrese Maxey over 26.5 points plus assists. And then my other lock is going to be the under 225.5 on the Lakers Suns game. I don't really have a dog tonight. Like I like both favorites, and I guess if I'm going for a dog, maybe the Okogie over 8.5, just because he's not known as a scorer.
Yeah, it's tough to pick out a lock and dog, especially when you have 2 games to pick from. But yeah, I agree with you about the Maxey prop. Definitely, I love that. I'll go with the Lakers minus 5.5 here tonight. I think they do respond in a big way at home. Looking like Devin Booker's trending towards not playing officially on the injury report, is listed as doubtful. I think this is a good response spot for the Lakers after getting beat up by the Denver Nuggets on opening night. I expect a better performance, at least in the second half, by Anthony Davis. He got off to a great start. And again, some of the bench pieces were looking good for them as well. I know Rui Hachimura came off the bench in 15 minutes, missed some gimmies around the basket. Christian Wood actually looked pretty good for this Lakers team as well. So I do think they respond here in a big way against this Phoenix Suns team. So I'll take the Lakers -5.5 as my log. For my dog, I'm trying to find the alt rebounds for Nurk because I know both you and I like him here tonight. And I think that he'll get into double digits here. So I do see, 9.5 over on that is +130 over on DraftKings, and over 10.5 rebounds for Nurk is at +220. So I'll give that out as my dog. I think that, he has a great rebounding night. Like I mentioned in the first game for the Phoenix Suns, he had 14 rebounds there. And he's been in double-digit rebounds going up against Anthony Davis in 9 straight games as well. So expect a big night from Nurk on the rebounding class again. So I'll take over 9.5 is at +135, and then we'll go over 10.5 at +220. McKee, that's going to wrap it up, my friend. Only 2 games on the schedule for Thursday night. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
That's it. Just happy to be back on the NBA Gambling Podcast. I'll be here every Thursday. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to talking hoops with you this season.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Every Thursday, McKee will be here with myself and Scott as well. So we'll do it as we usually do, Monday through Friday for the NBA Gambling Podcast. Only 2 games on the schedule here on Thursday, unfortunately. But Scott and Terrell will be back tomorrow for the Friday games at the usual time, 11 a.m. Eastern. So look out for them. A great reminder, if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel for the NBA Gambling Podcast, please go ahead and do so and give us a thumbs up on our stream here to smash that like button before you guys get out of here for the YouTube stream. And if you haven't already left us a rating and review, please go ahead and do so on your respective pod players, wherever they might be. All right, like we mentioned, Scott and Terrell back tomorrow for the Friday games. Till then, good luck with your bets. Let's break these books off and let it ride.